Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King.
Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Halfway twisted.
Welcome back to the program. I'm delighted to welcome as my first guest Anne Hernández MBE. Yes, she has that special title of all the work that she's done helping us Brits through Brexit and everything else that goes with it, gone with it, and is yet to go. And welcome back to the programme.
Thank you, Nicole.
I'm glad you're better.
Thank you, yeah.
Everyone's got those coughs and colds. Yeah, it's nasty when to be under the weather.
I know, it's not nice.
But it's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And nice for a catch-up. I've just got my TIE. Little bit upsetting to lose my green piece of paper with my permanent residency for one that says 10 years on it. A bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, that's because of the photograph, obviously.
Yeah, but anyway, I
We're
do have my
likely to change
TIE.
in 10 years, you know, our photos and things.
Yes, I do.
I still don't have mine, I must be truthful.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit jealous.
Well, it's not a legal obligation to do so. As and when it is, I will do it.
Well, I thought it was. I have been misled, mentioning no names, because I was told, how can you not have done it? Everyone's done it, but apparently not. So anyway.
I think it makes life easier if you travel abroad and things like that.
I've got no intention of going places. I like being in Marbella.
I
Very happy here on the Costa del Sol.
Yes, exactly. Like mine.
So, Anne, in theory, Brexit is over.
Oh, right, okay. Would you like to repeat that?
Yeah, but I mean, I see that the trámites, all the paperwork that we have to do now, the customs is still not sorted out.
No.
There's a lot of nobody knowing what's going on. Paperwork now has to be done in the Fuengirola police station because all the other police stations now can't cope with all the paperwork and everything. They did go out of their way to accommodate us in the changeover.
Some of them are still offering appointments, but they're few and far between, I must be truthful. Yeah.
So how is it for you now? What is the scene that you're facing?
Brexit is over in as much as the transition period ended at the end of 2020. But I don't want to be political. Let's say I try to be apolitical, neutral. But unfortunately, the lies we were told by the Leave campaign prior to voting on Brexit was that nothing would change for any of us. And unfortunately, a heck of a lot's changed for a lot of us. Not those of us that have been here as permanent residents prior to that, but those that want to come out here now or since. It's really very, very difficult, you know.
Worse than it was probably even before we joined the European
Absolutely.
Economic
We're
Community.
third country national. Well, I used to live in Tenerife, and I remember I used to have to go to the police station every 3 months with my passport to be stamped as a holidaymaker, as a tourist. I wasn't entitled to work. So,
and also now you have to make major investments if you want to come here.
Yeah, there's
you
the golden
actually
visa.
have to either get the golden visa, which is over €500,000,
per person without a mortgage.
Per person without a mortgage.
So if it's a couple, then only one of them should be named. Otherwise, it's got to be double that amount of money. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, aren't there?
And if you were like in England, like we were in the day that I want to just go and give it a try, what do we have to do? Just as a normal person without buying a house?
90 days. I mean, I was told last year by several, asked actually, my son's been offered a job at the local bar. He's coming out. I said, well, only for 90 days, and he can't officially work. Yeah. He's going to, you know, no, you can't do it anymore, I'm afraid. So a heck of a lot has changed.
So he would need to have a contract
Absolutely.
First,
with
then
a visa, with a work visa.
And then use that contract to then get a working residency.
Unless he was coming. I mean, there's different types of visas. You know, you can come as a student, not necessarily just as a work visa, but yeah, they've all got their requirements within them, and not always easy to achieve. I mean, there's the latest one, which is the digital nomad visa, which is for teleworkers. Very nice, you know. I can understand Spain wanting to apply it, to enforce it anew, because it will bring in economy, it will bump up the economy here in Spain. You know, anybody that lives here obviously is going to feed themselves, they're going to eat out, they're going to buy petrol, etc., etc. So yes, it's going to help the economy here, but it's a little bit difficult to achieve, to be truthful. Not as easy as a lot of people are thinking. They're thinking, oh, well, yes, I can work from home, outside, you know. I can't think of anything nicer than sitting on the beach if you've got Wi-Fi or something, or internet connection, you know, sitting there on your laptop and you're working as if you were at home in an office in the UK or something. Lovely. But there are certain requirements. Your family can piggyback on the rights if you get the visa. It can be for 1 year to 3 years. You have to have a certain amount of money in the bank, private medical insurance again, obviously a medical certificate to prove you're not bringing any contagious diseases into the country, a clean criminal
I was just going to say, go back to having to go and get your criminal
Yes.
records.
Well, yeah, and they have to be apostille stamped, sent off for apostille stamping, and then officially translated by an authorised Spanish translator.
Big difference.
A lot, yes. And then you have to have proof that you are professionally qualified or have been within that company for the last 3 months or in a professional business activity with them, etc., etc. I mean, you know, yeah, it's the same as the reunification. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, well, my mum now is in her 80s on her own because my father's passed away. She wants to come and live in Spain. Lovely. You know, lived the last few years of her life in Spain. We have the highest, what's the word? I've forgotten what you call it. what's the
Retired.
word?
Retirement?
No, the age that you die at, and I don't wish to call. What is it called?
When you're elderly?
The highest, I don't know.
High risk elderly?
No, I've forgotten what it's called now. It's 82 years old anyway. Spain, they're one of the top in if not the world, certainly in Europe. But Andalusia goes one better. It's 83 years. It's your average age of...
But even an 83-year-old would have to show proof of income,
Oh, totally.
all the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the family reunification does require that the main applicant, the son, the daughter, or whoever it is that's applying for them, has full control of their finances, which is very rare, you know, and they have to then prove that that's how they've been subbing the lady or the father, the old man, so to speak.
Wow.
So there's a lot attached to it, you know. I mean,
There is.
yes, they can transfer their rights to national health treatment from the UK to Spain, to the Spanish public health system, via an S1. Okay, provided they're a UK state pensioner, that's good because they don't have to pay private medical insurance because, well, if you reach 70, try and get private medical insurance, it's really, really expensive. If you mention you've had a medical history of cancer or diabetes, there's very few
Forget
ones who
it.
even insure you. So there's something else that you can't come here without.
I'm getting very sad listening to all
no,
this.
I'm not.
It's
I don't want to make
dramatic.
it sad. No, it's not nice for a lot of people. I must be truthful. It's burst the bubble of a lot. You know, their dreams of coming out here, especially the second homeowners. I mean, what a bad deal they've got that they can now only spend 90 days in their second home here in Spain. It's not very nice, is it? When they thought they were buying it a few years ago to retire here eventually.
And now they've got all the extra expenses, having to have a residence somewhere else as well.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean they're paying their EB, their basura, their tax here and everything as non-residents. So I don't see the problem, but it wasn't part of the deal, unfortunately.
Wow.
We were lied to. What can I say?
But all round.
Oh, totally.
I mean, just the fact of even getting to the point of Brexit, it was how could we expect it to stay the same, really?
Well, we were told it would be the same for us and there would be no changes, but there's lots of changes. Lots and lots of changes.
For a driving licence now, those who didn't exchange before the date, they now have to actually take a driving test.
No, that isn't strictly true. Well, they do if they want to drive now, yes, because you cannot, but there is... Over 2 years, there have been negotiations, and quite what these negotiations involve that can last for over 2 years, I really don't know, but to negotiate a straight exchange with Spain and the UK of the British driving licence, of the UK driving licence, which you always used to be able to do before as an EU citizen, without any problem. You have to have a medical, you know, and it's sort of a hand and eye coordination little test on the computer type of thing, but €50, something like that, and then you go along with your paperwork, your photograph, etc., and you exchange your driving licence. Last April, end of April last year, Spain had offered up until then 2 or 3 extensions on the time that you were allowed to since Brexit, and they actually pulled the plug on it and they said no more extensions. And UK then decided, I presume, that the negotiations had to be stepped up rather more because we're obviously not high up in the pecking order in the UK. They have their own problems, don't they, politically? Let's be honest. We're rather disenfranchised and abandoned here, you know, out of sight and out of mind. And the negotiations have been going on ever since, and they don't seem to be able to reach an agreement. Now, back in beginning of January, we were told by the British Embassy that the British side of it had all been agreed and passed over to Spain. So in order to not be waiting, because you still have to have a medical, not be waiting for that medical because their appointments will be few and far between given the demand, go and get your medical. That medical certificate is only valid for 90 days. Thank goodness I opposed that and said, please don't do it, because by the time the actual agreement comes in, you might have to pay again because your certificate of the medical would have expired. But that's what they were told, and we're still waiting for the agreement. So watch this space. What can I say?
Exactly. I mean, without a doubt, Brexpats has been fundamental in keeping us informed during all this time.
Yeah.
What are the questions you get mostly asked now, and what are the biggest doubts at this moment?
Well, the one big thing at the minute is still the driving licence. I mean, it's a very emotive subject, as you can understand. If you haven't been able to drive here since last April and you live here, I mean, if you live in an area that's a little bit more remote, doesn't have a regular bus service, it's very... But I mean, I know of elderly people that have said, but my husband's in hospital, I've got to go and visit him daily, I cannot afford a taxi every day. So am I not allowed to visit my husband? It's really quite sad, you know, when you think they're surviving just on their pension alone type of thing.
Who would have thought, when before Brexit, during Brexit and post-Brexit, that so many people could be suffering and going through these difficulties? Thank heavens, as I say, for associations such as Brexpats, because you really are a great source of information, bona fide information, collaborating directly with the British Embassy to ensure that we do have someone there that will reply to us.
Yes, we do.
So Brexpats in Spain.
Now international. Not only just dealing with British. No, we're Brexpats in Spain international.
Yeah, but I suppose there are a lot of people who living in England are this and that.
Yeah. Well, we're third country national now, so that we're the same as anybody else that's applying, Australians, Americans, and we did start getting a lot of Americans, Australians, etc. applying as well to come and live in Spain. You know, there's quite a lot of people want to come and live in Spain. I wonder why, Nicole.
I don't know. I wonder why. I wonder why.
It's all that bad weather we keep having that stops them getting their tomatoes.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I must have blinked and missed it. I must be truthful, but there we go.
Well, we will give it gratitude that we're already here.
Indeed.
That we have our paperwork.
Yes.
And if you have any doubts or queries, please do contact Brexpats International.
In Spain International.
Brexpats in Spain International.
That's right.
You're all welcome to get information. There's a lot of information to be had. A lot of questions still being asked. So
and we don't rely on Bob in the bar for the information.
Please don't.
We have professional experts that collaborate with us, you know, solicitors, people involved in insurance, and invariably they will give our members some sort of special offer. If it's not a discount, it's a free consultation or something like that.
But at least you know you're heading in the right direction.
Absolutely, yeah.
And thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Okay, well, don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, hey.
ZeroHero welcomes at Wheels Cafe.
Everyone that comes and wants to join our ZeroHero association, they will have free non-alcoholic drinks at our venue at any time.
Hi guys, Ross here from Hoganstown. Proud to be a member of the ZeroHero campaign, and we recommend everybody. Nobody drives drinking. Everybody who drives a car doesn't have any alcohol in their system, and we're proud to sponsor the ZeroHero program.
We are
When we get older, obviously, it becomes a worry for our families, but also each one of us wondering what's going to happen to us, where we're going to go. If we're lucky and we have the finances, we get to go somewhere like CK La Quinta, which is a luxurious aged care home that's in Marbella. And I'm delighted to welcome back to the programme Victoria Herrero, who is very much in charge there, making sure that people are welcome, well looked after, and the rest of us get to know that the place exists. Lovely to have you back again, Victoria.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank you to invite me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's always lovely to see you.
Thank you so much.
And I have to say, I can't but mention fabulous James Kyle, who passed away
Yes.
so recently. Linda Woodin and James have been so instrumental in helping promote CK La Quinta, recognising the benefits in comparison to other places, perhaps along the coast. So I will be saying it more times during the programme. But really sad to lose James last week. So this programme 100% dedicated to him. Very sad to lose people. It's a hard business you work in.
It is. But it is true that it has been a big loss to lose James. It is true that Linda has been a big effort for CK. But James was always on the background. And it was lovely to meet him, and I want to wish my most honest condolence to the family.
Yeah, it's a very sad time. But again, working with elderly people, it's a reality. And obviously the aged care home is to give the best quality of life while they're there, and sometimes that is until the very end. Give us a little bit of an outline of CK La Quinta.
It's difficult to work in an environment like CK La Quinta because obviously we know we all have to pass away because that's Mother Nature. But even so, behind that person there is a family. And that family has a loss. So it's difficult sometimes not to cry with them when somebody passes away. And separately, like I've mentioned in other interviews, my time is 70% inverted in La Quinta. So they have become my second family. It's not a matter anymore of business. It's a matter that you create a bond with them. You create to start empathy. And you know what their wishes are. And then when they pass away and they don't say good morning to you, it's difficult.
What kind of things do you do at La Quinta? What kind of people are living with you?
I have so many different clients. We have separated the building in 3 parts. Obviously, I am half Dutch and half Spanish. I know that my family can sit on the same table for 1 hour, but they can't live together because it's such a different in culture. And then separately, we are coping with dementia and Alzheimer, and they deserve quality of life as well. So we have divided the home in 3 parts. The 3rd floor is for the Spanish people, the 2nd floor is for dementia and Alzheimer, and the 1st floor is the international group. I have to mention that 90% of my clients are international. And I have people who I have very old young people who are very mentally fit and physically in very good condition, and I have very young, very old people. Partly because of the psychological circumstances, or they've suffered a stroke, but we don't mix them up. This is why we have divided the home in 3 parts. Even the dining room, every part has their own dining room. We don't mix them up in activities, during the meals, during excursions. We separate them totally.
It's curious, but I suppose on a day-to-day basis, the foreigners do keep themselves very much to themselves as a rule. The Dutch with the Dutch, the English with the English. So I suppose reproducing that they feel then comfortable in the home is very important.
Important, difficult, but not impossible. And that's why we have a very good team existing in a doctor, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, our supervisors, our auxiliary, our cleaning ladies. We have the same aim, which is the well-being of the client. Obviously, in all workplaces, you have people who are there to pay their rent. It's true, or to pay their bills. Not everybody do their work with their heart. But it's very difficult to find qualified staff, and at least that they speak a little bit of English. But I have to say that we have such a good team, and we make mistakes, and we will keep on making mistakes, but you can make them discussable with me so we can change our services.
You have very wide services, and you have beautiful installations. When you opened up, coming up to 5 years ago now.
Yes, almost 5 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It goes quickly, doesn't it, really,
Quickly,
in a way?
Yes.
You've done a lot in 5 years, though.
Yes. And the best publicity has been the word of mouth. People with their experiences. That's the best publicity you can have. Obviously, my job is to keep on selling La Quinta, but as well maintaining them in and satisfied.
So what kind of facilities are at the... I want to say the hotel, but what kind of facilities do you have at CK La Quinta? Can they use the swimming pool? Is there massage therapy? Psychologists?
Yes.
What kind of meals?
Well, to start with, in the moment that somebody decides to come in La Quinta, we will do like a medical assessment to see how are they doing psychological, how are they doing physically, and how are they doing socially. What type of person it has been in the past, what are his wishes, his assignment, and can I adapt my services to what he is requesting. And I will always be very honest. I don't think your mom fits here, or I do think, because I prefer to have a satisfied client than an unsatisfied client, but I'm not going to sell any nonsense. We have 54 rooms, a doctor, like you said, from Monday to Friday, and we have a special collaboration with Helicópteros Sanitarios. They cover us 24/7. And then separately we have a psychologist, physiotherapist. It's a whole team who are in charge to do the assessment. And during the assessment, we can adapt or change certain provided services to the client.
So very much tailor-made to the needs of each
Yes.
individual person.
Yes. And you have families who are very easy and families who are very difficult. But this is like everything in life. You will never be perfect.
What is your most heartwarming memory? Because you've been doing this for many years now, because you were in another home before CK La Quinta. What is, of all these years, the thing that you most heartwarms you and I suppose keeps you going?
The appreciation of my residents. When they come to my office to say good morning, thank you, it was lovely, the dinner of yesterday, the little things that matters. And that they really come to see you. This is what I most appreciate. Otherwise you can't keep on working there, because it's difficult to cope with them, with families, and with the professionals, because we are not the same.
How did you get involved in this type of work?
Because I'm a nurse. I'm a medical nurse. I've studied in Rotterdam, in Alexander, in a university, and I was too sensitive. I had to say goodbye to a 37-year-old woman who was saying goodbye to her children. And then I said, I have just finished my career, but I am not useful for this, because I cried with them. So I said, okay, I go to Spain. Then when they saw I speak a lot of languages, they said, wouldn't you like to work in the offices, in the same environment, but in the offices? So I'm a little bit on the back line. And I said, yes, I love it. And I like the elderly.
They have so many fascinating stories.
Yes.
When I was a kid at school, I suppose we were 14, we used to do visits with the school. They take us on buses to visit different age care homes.
Yes.
And it was really fascinating just to hear the stories,
Yes.
the life experiences, advice.
Exactly. You ask me where did you look for the inspiration? They are elderly. They have lived for 80, 90 years, 70 years, but they have more experience than I have. I use their life experience to improve mine. And sometimes I use it as a tool to have patience, not to see the difficulties, but see the possibilities and work for it. And this is what they have taught me, my elderly. And they are not children. I hate people when they say, sorry, I have to say this, they're like little children. No, they're not children, they're adults. And because of life, circumstances, they have become what they are, and they can't help it that they have dementia. You still have to treat them like an adult.
Yeah, it's very true words that we do tend to, I think particularly in, like, say, English countries. The Spanish, no, they seem to have a much larger empathy
Yes.
for children and for the elderly.
Yes.
As being one family, one unit, everybody is valid. But I do think in the English, at least, we have a lot less respect for our children and for our elderly.
Yes, well, I don't know if that's... Yes and no. Sometimes from the Spanish people, hola guapa! And that's... Not everybody appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
I think the combination would be perfect between English and Spanish treat to our elderly.
We could learn from each other.
Yes.
We could definitely
Yes.
learn from each other.
Effectively.
What would you like to share with our viewers about CK La Quinta before we finish?
Just come to see me. And you will see, I am not perfect, but I will try to give the best quality of life, because it's not 80% of my resident doesn't want to be in my home. It's beautiful, it sells for itself, but this is not what I want to sell. I want to sell services. I want to sell human quality, human empathy, a team behind it to make sure that your parents, your aunt, your sister is in the best hand and and safeguard their well-being.
Very true words. Most people don't want to be there.
No.
They'd rather be at home, be with their families, lost loved ones, but
Yes.
if they are there, it's for a reason. At least they can be as well taken care of and loved as much as possible.
Exactly.
And that's why you've got Victoria at CK La Quinta.
Thank you so much.
She really cares. As
I'm
does the team.
I'm the less important person in CK. I want to make that sure. The team is the one who works with the residents.
And you have a lovely team. You do have a lovely team. It's nice
Yes.
how you all work together because you have a mutual goal.
And a very director who is very compressive and listen to my ideas, because you can't work with someone you have to ask permission every time over and over again. But someone who listens to your ideas and say, well, try. And we will see how it works out. Somebody who supports you and understands your private life as well, because we are all human beings, we all have our families, and we have to cope with people who pass us away. So coming home and having 2 children screaming, and sometimes I think, shut up, leave me alone. But she understands, so.
And that's how it needs to be. And that's what you're basically selling at the home.
Yes.
That it's a family, it's a real home,
Yes.
where you can feel at home and get the same, not the same, but as similar as possible to that family welcoming
Unit,
atmosphere.
yes.
Yeah, that unit. Congratulations, you.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
So happy to see you again.
Happy to see you as well.
And if you would like to check out CK La Quinta, give Victoria a ring, pop along, and you can get the tour. And I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't go away. Back in a minute.
G-Wine is happy to be ZeroHero partner.
How cool is that? G-Wine.
Thank you.
When I'm the designated driver, I think it's only fair that I get to choose a ZeroHero venue that rewards me with free soft drinks. My friends all get to choose and booze, and they feel safe going home with me. Make sure that you get your reward for being the designated driver. Why pay if you don't have to?
The other day, I was lucky enough to meet a lovely young lady. Her name is Paula Chinchilla, and I met her together with Victoria Herrero of CK La Quinta because she collaborates with Victoria doing palliative care as a life coach. Now, firstly, I'm very delighted to welcome you to the programme, Paula.
Thank you very much.
I'm also delighted that you're a Chinchilla because that is a very special name in Spain, not very common, and I
No,
believe
it's not.
belonging to Malaga.
Yes, we're coming from Malaga. My grandfather was from Malaga, from Calle Larios.
The most emblematic street in Malaga.
know.
And there is a square, the Chinchilla,
Our General Chinchilla.
Chinchilla. Well, and I've got loads of friends, family in Madrid, the Chinchilla. So hi, Javi, Gonzalo, and all the family. As we're talking about Chinchillas, can't leave you out. Lovely to meet you, and really nice line of work that you do. It's very specialised. You're a life coach.
Yes.
But as you mentioned the other day, you specialise in palliative care. Can I ask a basic question? What does palliative care mean?
Okay. It's when you have a disease that normally is cancer disease, and you know as the last time of your life, and you decide to stay in your house with your family and with all around that you don't want to go in a hospital, and you want to keep on going until you're in a house. So that's why when life coaches start working with you and your family.
So, as you're saying, it would be for the person themselves, but also for the family. What kind of
Yes.
treatment, what kind of steps do you take with a family?
Okay, we have the first step is to make an interview with the family and with the patient. Sometimes the patient don't want to know the reality, but if they want to, they stay in the interview and we see what they're gonna need, not just clinical. I mean, just with psychologists and with coach that make you understand what's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen.
And then how to deal with
Yes.
what happens.
Because the family is very important too. I mean, the person who's going to die, well, we take care of him or her But the family is very important to help them with those moments and to realize what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and help them.
This is a very particular niche to work in. Have you always felt that you wanted to help people? How did you start off in your career? What were your aspirations originally?
Well, it was the experience to have my mom with cancer.
I'm sorry.
And it's okay. And, well, it's 2003, so it's a long time ago. And we realized how is cancer in a hospital. And I don't want that anyone lives like that, because you are just one more. And I decided then to become a nurse, a specialist in palliative. But it's not just only cancer. I mean, it's another disease too, but mostly it's cancer. And we bring you the dignity and to stay in your house with your family, and you don't have to stay in just a room in a hospital alone and with a clinical system. It's your house, and I'm coming to your house.
So what kind of services do you cover? What would you do if you go to someone's home?
Well, if someone have a fail, we help. If you need assistance, if you need injections or eventually injections or medication or just control your parents, we cover everything.
So you have a team that collaborates with you?
Yes. We have a team here we have one in Levante, in the Costa Blanca, and now we are starting in Costa del Sol.
Well, obviously there is a big need for these type of services. Do you also go to visit people at CK La Quinta?
Yes, if they need it, yes, of course. Or to apartments, wherever they need. We go everywhere.
Very worthy thing that you do. How do you disconnect from work? How do you keep your spirits up and keep that joyous personality?
Well, with music, with sports, with my dogs, and you have to disconnect, obviously, but you never disconnect at all.
You have to obviously have a lot of empathy. When I was chatting with Victoria before, it's difficult when you're losing people, but we do learn a lot of experience. Are there any things in particular you've heard? They say those deathbed confessions, or the last minute advice, or the regrets when people are leaving, things that you've heard, that last words are like, oh.
Well, they used to be so kind with us. I mean, for them, you are so special because you're the last one that they're going to talk to. So everyone are fabulous with us, are so comfortable. They make our job so nice and so comfortable. And all you have is all the respect that they give to you.
How long have you been offering your services here on the Costa del Sol?
Well, we are getting boring because Age Concern and CK La Quinta was introducing us to the foreign people living here in the area.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you along. Do you need perhaps more people to join in with your team, as well as people to look after?
Of course, always.
So if you're interested, there's a growing team here of helpers for palliative care. Here in theory, we think of Kudeca. When we think of palliative care people, it's the only hospice.
I know, but it's a hospice. That's the difference. We are going to your house, respecting your rules, your house, and your family and all that you want. It's okay, Kudeca is okay, but it's a hospice.
Yeah, but they have a hospice for you people. They also do a lot of home visits. They also do that as well, because obviously they can't have everybody at the hospice. But I know that there is a great need for this, unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
Unfortunately. But it's nice to know that there are people like yourself that are dedicated to this, because it's a very challenging time of our life as we get older, particularly if we're not aware exactly of our circumstances, and it can be very confusing.
I know.
So
it is. So we are trying to do it as best we can.
What's the best way to get in contact with you, Paula?
The best way, with my phone or my Gmail, the Life Coach, because we never need a website, because when you know us, well, it's like talk to talk. I mean, I need to have a website. I have just the phone number, the Life Coach phone number, and also my sister works with me. And she has another phone number, and the Gmail is the best way.
And then you set up whatever they need to go to the original,
And
the
we
initial
are ready, and we prepare the
see what they
meetings
need
and interviews and everything.
Wonderful. Lovely to meet you.
It was my pleasure.
As things are just meant to be. You never know who you're going to meet, where you're going to meet them. But as I say, at the Age Concern luncheon the other day, and dedicating to our lovely James Kyle, mentioning it again, meeting you was absolutely lovely.
Yeah,
to add
it
to
was.
the list. As when we need help, those times of need, and there are people to come to the rescue. Paula, thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So, take note of that number if you know someone who might be in need. It's nice to know there's someone who cares. Don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment.
ZeroHero, welcome here at the Gaucho de Banús.
Welcome to Lemongrass, Doña Lola. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, Kazakhstan is proud to welcome the Zero Heroes. So come on in and enjoy free soft drinks for anyone who is the designated driver. Thank you, Nicole.
So here we are at Everest. Very cool.
Yeah.
Stickers going up.
Hiya, my name is Govinda. I'm from Everest. Welcome to ZeroHero, to Everest Fusion, to enjoy your cocktails, drinks, and happy hour as well. And food, of course, is delicious. Thank you.
Welcome to Sister Taperia. Perfecto.
Last week, I got out my oxygen mask and had my jabs because I went up to Fuengirola. Why? Well, I wanted to meet Nicola Jones and the girls from the International Theatre Dance School. They participated in Got Talent. Very excited for the girls. It was nice to go and meet them and to show our community what the residents of our community get up to and how nice it is to see that camaraderie, them all joining together with this mutual goal. And although they didn't get through to the finals, just getting through to participate, they're all winners. Take a look. Ole! And Darcy. Well, Darcy, you've been missed. So, who wants to be the first to explain how the idea came up and how your reaction was to actually going to go to national television on Got Talent?
Leading up when Nicola finally broke the news, we all went absolutely insane. We all just
hugged each other was amazing, and we all just felt like this incredible joy that like, oh my god, we're actually going to be there all together and stuff.
So the whole experience must have been quite marvellous, I imagine. From the moment of knowing that you've been accepted to participate, and then the journey. So even just going there, the whole experience of going there must have been quite thrilling. What was it like? What was the trip like?
It was really exciting. We got to go on the train with everyone. We were all together, and we also met loads of amazing people on the train where we danced for them, and they filmed us and everything. It was just really fun just being there with everyone, like going somewhere we know we're going to have so much fun.
I had a friend who went on The Voice, I think it was, and I remember there was hours and hours of waiting before the actual performance. How did you spend those hours?
Well, we couldn't really snack on anything, so we were quite hungry because we didn't want to ruin our costumes. So we were meeting tons of talented people, and everyone was just so kind there. And we discussed how it was being there. We were just overwhelmed. Yeah, it was
Really exciting.
It was really nice that when they came off stage, they were crying so much because they'd got 3 yeses. But then, because it's a production company, they had to film interviews again. So all the girls' mascara was running down their faces, they had to be touched up, and then they had to pretend that they hadn't got through because we had to film other bits for the show, and they had to pretend that they hadn't seen the judges, and they were a mess. And then the parents came through and they had to hug the parents, and the parents were a mess. Everybody was a mess.
And no one was allowed to know that you'd actually made it through to the next round.
The girls didn't get picked for the live shows, unfortunately. So they had the whole experience of Got Talent, but they never actually made it through to the next round. They had to go through a number of rounds to get to that. That's what a lot of people don't see. So Milo, where did we have to go? We went to the first round. Where did we go? Yeah.
Went to Sevilla, and it was like an audition to actually go to the actual Got Talent.
And who did you meet? You met you were very lucky. In their room, they actually had the director of Got Talent, which was amazing because not all the rooms had the director. So they got, and once they came out, their directors were buzzing, saying that we love this group. So you get feedback straight away, even though it was a very long day. How long were you waiting for, girls?
A long time. They moved us now. We were supposed to be earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next objective, what's that, Miss Nicola?
I don't know, maybe to have a rest. No, we're actually, the girls are, in 2 weeks, they're in the Andalusian finals. They're Showdance champions of Spain also, so they do a lot of competitions. The piece that we did in Got Talent was Alice in Wonderland, and their new piece is Wizard of Oz. So we've got all the different characters from the Wizard of Oz. But I did want to mention also that we were really lucky in having a sponsorship deal for the trip as well. So ZeroHero Home in Mijas sponsored all the girls because it was a very expensive trip. All the girls have t-shirts with if you want to turn around, they have the wings on the back, which is the ZeroHero Home company that sponsored all the girls. So that was really nice. It's nice to have local support.
Without a doubt. Do you think you'll go in for it again next year and you'll all train up?
We're not sure yet.
But you would like to. I can see you'd like to give it another go. So sponsors required for Got Talent for the next time, and best of luck in the upcoming competitions. The most important thing is you all seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a big wave. Say bye-bye, Marbella now.
So girls, we're going to do it with the ITS juniors, then you're going to run up forward. All is going to walk over, so don't get in our way. Okay, girls, ready? Ah.
Bye.
you very much. And girls, congratulations.
A new partner of ZeroHero.
Alright guys, so I'm the designated driver tonight, so I'm going to choose the ZeroHero place. So all of my soft drinks are for free. And if you want to go somewhere else, just check out the Facebook, Instagram or the ZeroHero.es website for any of the bars, discotheques or restaurants on there. I'm happy to go anywhere you want to go, as long as it's ZeroHero.
It's a brand new day.
ZeroHero, welcome to the Secret Garden. We welcome you.
It's a brand
If you live locally, you will have heard of our ZeroHero incentive, designated drivers getting free soft drinks at participating venues. One of those venues is the lovely Piku Banús. It's part of the Gaucho Banús group, and they are ZeroHero partners. They opened back in the summer with a soft opening, but they had their official opening party on Saturday, I think it was, and I went along, so let's go and check it out.
Let the music get to your heart. Let it set you on your way. No time to hesitate. We are all the same. So much trouble tearing us apart. Poison arrows shoot straight to your heart. We can change if we try. Just believe it's worth your
Buenas noches. Gracias.
You're here on behalf of Marbella TV.
Bueno, poco más me queda decir. La verdad, muchísimas gracias por venir. El grupo de evolución del Pokémon, como dice mi hijo, hemos aprendido muchísimo en este local.
Acérquense todos, así salen en la foto. el recuerdo se ponen atrás.
A ver, Noelia, tú. ¡Silencio suyo! ¡Ya! ¡Vamos!
We've talked a lot about the elderly, age concern, and those more vulnerable in our community this programme. So it's kind of fitting that, again, this whole programme becomes a dedication to what I feel like I've lost a big brother in James Kyle. So very nice to me, so very nice to everybody, so much a part of age concern and getting that going and everything else literary in our community. A wonderful auctioneer, art dealer, and a good friend to everybody that knew him. Linda, his wife, managed to go to the age concern lunch the day after James's passing because she felt that it would also be a tribute to him. So I'm going to show you just a few snaps, a little bit of what went on at the event, but more than anything, in recognition of Linda and in loving memory of James.
Hello, lovely people. Hello. Nice to see you. Ladies and gents, hi, it's video. We're live. It's actually at the moment I'm doing video. I met her once. Together at Linda's for Christmas. And I
now know that sadly we lost James Kyle, and many of you will have known him personally. I'm delighted that Linda has chosen to join us today. I can only say that he will be greatly missed, not only by Linda, but many of us who knew him personally.
Very much.
And I will send out an email to everybody.
Because he normally checks you all in, and he hasn't arrived.
Oh,
so you know, I'm very sorry, but Angie has been amazing standing in for him and doing her thing. And if anybody wants to come to the service that I'm doing, it's all got to be done very quickly here, as we all know. On Saturday at 5 o'clock, we are going to the crematorium, and then afterwards at Sarah, the details if you want to send that.
We've been talking about death and losing people a lot this programme, and we've lost our lovely James Kyle. So I'm going to refer to something that I heard Keanu Reeves say on an interview last week when they asked him, what do you think happens to us after we die? And his reply was beautiful. He said the one thing he knows is that when we die, the one thing we can be sure of is that those who loved us will miss us. And with that, I wish you have a lovely week, take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and I look forward to welcoming you back to another Marbella Now next week. Hasta pronto.